My sister created a family poll called Who's Most Likely to Never Make It, and every single relative voted for me. So I left and years later refused to help the people who mocked me when they begged for help. The group chat was originally called Family Vibes Yellow Heart. And yes, the heart emoji was my sister's idea. I always thought it should have had a disclaimer, not responsible for damage caused by emotional whiplash or favoritism-induced migraines. Growing up in our house was like being cast in a reality show you didn't sign up for. And no matter what you did, someone else got the confetti. That someone else was almost always my sister Cassidy. Cassidy was the kind of person who got a standing ovation for breathing. She could burn toast, and Dad would say it's because she's experimenting with culinary boundaries. I'd cook dinner for the whole family and get asked where the salt was. She was a varsity cheerleader student council VP and once got a participation award in science class for remembering her own name. That last one became a framed plaque in the hallway. Meanwhile, I was the kid who once tripped on stage during a spelling bee and got laughed at for a week straight, including by Mom. By the time I hit 17, I'd stopped trying to be seen. If I mowed the lawn, I was told I missed a patch. If Cassidy blinked, they said she had great emotional depth. The jokes in our family weren't harmless either. They were the kind of jabs that came with a smirk but cut deep. Like when I got my first part-time job fixing bicycles at a local shop and my uncle deadpanned, "Well, at least you'll always have work." People never stop breaking stuff. They all laughed. I didn't. But I stayed quiet. I always did. After high school, while Cassidy went off to her fancy university with a new car and a prepaid apartment, I stayed back and enrolled in a local trade school, welding to be specific. I liked the sparks, the noise, the fact that something broken could be fused back together permanently. It felt poetic even if nobody else thought so. My dad grunted when I told him, "Well, someone's got to fix the world's broken junk." I bit back the urge to say, "Yeah, like this family." But I kept that one in the vault. Still, I worked hard. I didn't ask for handouts. I didn't post about my progress. I just showed up to class, worked odd jobs at night, and saved every cent I could. And the more I grew up, the more I noticed how I was treated like a walking cautionary tale. Anytime something went wrong, a cousin dropped out, someone got arrested, someone flopped a midterm, it was, "At least you're not ending up like Wes." It became a phrase, a punchline, and not just behind my back. That's the part people don't get about. Harmless teasing. When it's every day, every dinner, every family call, it starts feeling like a verdict, like you're being sentenced to failure, even if you haven't failed yet. I told myself it didn't matter that I'd make it out one day, and they'd realize they were wrong. But deep down, I kept hoping for something, anything, that would make them say, "We were wrong about you." It never came. Then, during one regular Tuesday, in the middle of a group chat argument about potato salad, don't ask, Cassidy dropped a poll into the chat. Who's most likely to never make it? Options: Wes. 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 Yeah. She didn't even try to be subtle. The family laughed, reacted with crying emojis. My end wrote haha savage face with tears of joy. My dad added better vote before Wes sees it. Spoiler, I already had. What stung the most? Every single person voted. Not a single one hesitated. Not even the people who used to babysit me. Not even Mom. I stared at the screen, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. But I did either. I just slowly backed out of the chat. No dramatic exit, no screw you message, no mic drop, just silence. And I never came back. The funny thing about silence at first, it's deafening. Then it becomes peaceful. After I left the family chat, my phone felt lighter. No more pings from Aunt Marcy posting Minion memes. No more Cassidy sending TikToks captioned, "This is so you," of people falling face first into concrete. And no more passive-aggressive comments from Mom like, "We haven't heard from you lately. Are you doing okay or just hiding again?" I blocked them all one by one. No drama, just clean cuts. Then I got to work. Trade school was brutal in its own way. Early mornings, welding through foggy goggles, blisters on my fingers, burn marks I'd learned to stop crying about. But it was mine. No one could take that away. My instructor, Daryl, a gruff ex-Navy guy with a voice like gravel and a heart bigger than most golden retrievers, became the first adult who looked me in the eye and said, "You've got a good eye, kid. Clean weld. You're learning fast." I almost cried over a weld, because no one in my family had ever said that about anything I did. Not once. I worked nights at a gas station, crashed in a shared apartment with three guys who survived off Ken Chile and Mountain Dew, and spent weekends fixing lawnmowers for cash. Roommate number one only communicated in grunts. Roommate number two had a pet snake that somehow kept escaping. Roommate number three once microwaved a metal fork. We lost the deposit that week. One weekend, I built a custom fire pit for a local couple's backyard. The wife cried when she saw it. The husband tipped me $100 and said, "You're going places." Weird, right? How total strangers can spot the spark in you faster than your own blood. Every now and then, I'd get curious. I'd peek at Cassid's social media. Still the same perfect angles, fake laughs, hashtags like hashtag power couple and hashtag boss energy under heavily filtered photos of her and Evan, her husband, the guy who got a full-time job at her dad's firm right after they got engaged. Nepotism, probably, but that's a whole other side story. She posted every little thing: when she got a dream client at her marketing job, when she got an almond milk sponsorship, even when their dog got a tooth pulled. It all had to be public. Meanwhile, I was quietly stacking wins. I finished top of my class, got certified in pipe welding and metal fabrication, took a job with a local contractor who let me rent a room above his garage for cheap. The place was dusty, the water pressure was sketchy, and the toilet ran like it was training for a marathon. But it was mine. My name was on the lease. My tools were lined up like soldiers. And every project I touched stayed fixed. Every scar on my hand was a badge. And still not a single message from anyone in the family. Not a, "Hey, where have you been?" Not even a birthday text, which honestly was fine because for the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to earn their approval. I wasn't waiting for applause. I was just living. And then came the moment that changed everything again. I was under a carport fixing a steel frame for a client's side deck when I got a message on Instagram from Cassidy. Just her name popping up made my stomach turn. I hadn't heard from her in a year, not since the poll. Her message: "Hey, Wes, got a weird question for you. No apology. No, how have you been? No shame. Just got a weird question for you. I almost didn't open it, but I did because part of me wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole went." I opened the message. "So this is awkward. Evan's in between jobs right now. Grimacing face. Any chance your work is hiring?" That was it. 12 months of silence. A family poll where I was voted most likely to fail. And now, out of all people, Cassidy was reaching out so her husband could get a job from me. No. How have you been? No apology. Just a casual emoji and a favor. I stared at my phone like it had just insulted my entire bloodline because Evan was the golden retriever in human form who used to call my career path manual peasantry. He wore loafers to backyard BBQs. Once told me, and I quote, "You know, welding is cool and all, but it's not scalable. You should think bigger." This man who wore a Patagonia vest like it was body armor and unironically called himself a thought leader wanted to work under me. Oh, the poetic symmetry. And the thing is, I actually was hiring. 3 months back, I'd made the jump, took a loan, leased a shop, registered my own business, iron and ember welding company, clean, solid, and fully mine. We started with basic fence repairs, deck frames, and garden trellises. Now we were doing custom gates, patio installs, even some commercial railing work. We were booked 2 months out. I had 2 full-time guys, a part-timer, and enough tools to build a tank if someone paid for the metal. Nobody in my family knew. Not because I was hiding, but because they'd never asked. I sat there in the shop's little break room, half laughing to myself as I reread Cassid's message. I even looked over at our job board, every date filled with clients I'd earned through word of mouth, not hashtags or family plugs. Cassid's timing, chef's kiss. My first instinct was petty. I wanted to reply with, "Most likely to fail is hiring," or maybe send her a link to a fast food application and say, "Start here, humility 101." But something in me held back. Instead, I went to my crew group chat and typed question. "Would you hire someone who once laughed at your career, called it fixing junk, and now wants a job from you?" Dylan replied first. "Only if we get to weld their ego shut," Mike chimed in. "Is it that guy with the vest? I knew he'd break." I grinned. It felt good to be surrounded by people who had my back. Guys who judge me by my welds, not my degree, or lack thereof. Eventually, I opened Cassid's chat again and typed, "Can I ask you something first?" Her reply came faster than expected. "Of course." Smiling face with smiling eyes. I took my time. Then I pulled up a screenshot. Not of the poll. No, that would have been too easy. Instead, I dug up something even better. A photo she once posted in the family chat. Cassidy in a mirror selfie holding a champagne flute with a caption to Evan's big promotion, clinking glasses. Meanwhile, Wes is out fixing fences or whatever. LOL, #bless, #career goals. I stared at it for a second, my thumb hovering over. Send. Then I attached it and followed with, "Do you think someone who fixes fences or whatever should be in charge of Evan's next paycheck scene? 9:14 p.m. No reply. 10 minutes passed, then 30, then 2 hours. Still nothing. But I wasn't done. I scrolled back to Instagram, found another gem. Cassid's post from last year, the one that really hit me sideways. She'd captioned a photo of her and Evan on a rooftop. Some people take longer to find their purpose. Others never do, and that's okay. Kind of nail polish. I took a screenshot of that too. No message this time. Just sent the image, left it there. No reply, no typing bubble, no read receipt this time. Just silence. And for once it was perfect. 2 days. That's how long Cassidy stayed quiet. No apology, no backpedaling, no acknowledgement of the screenshots I'd sent her. Just digital silence, like she was hoping if she didn't look directly at the mess, it would go away on its own. Honestly, I was impressed. Denial runs deep in my family, but this was Olympic level. Then on the 3rd day, she broke. "Okay, look, I know the past wasn't perfect, but Evan's trying. Can't you just let it go? Let it go." Like this was some sitcom misunderstanding, not a public execution by group poll. Not "I'm sorry," not "we were wrong. Just let it go." It read like she was hoping I'd scroll past the decade of being treated like a punchline, because now her golden boy husband needed a paycheck. I didn't respond. I tossed my phone into the glove box and drove to my next install. We were working on a custom iron gate for a dentist who wanted something timeless, elegant, but not boring. He then suggested a flaming sword motif. I smiled, nodded, and added another $600 to the quote. By the time I finished, sweat-drenched and covered in sparks. I checked my phone. Now Mom was texting. Of course, Cassidy had gone for the nuclear option. Guilt by maternal proxy. "Wes, honey, please talk to your sister. Family is all we have. You've always been the forgiving one. She's hurting. Her husband lost his job. Wes, they're scared." It read like a PR memo for a failing brand. Then came the cherry on top. "We all say things we don't mean, but you've always had such a kind heart, right? That heart they used to treat like a punching bag. The one that only mattered when they needed something. Where was this kind heart energy when Cassidy was running group polls at my expense, or when I was 17 working double shifts just to afford gas to school? When I told them I'd started my own welding business and the group chat didn't even acknowledge it. Oh wait, I didn't tell them because they didn't ask. I sat there rereading Mom's messages, half expecting a follow-up like, also, "Can you bring potato salad to Grandma's next week?" Nothing shocks me anymore. I didn't respond. Not at first. I didn't want to lash out, not because they didn't deserve it, but because I wanted this to land quietly, cleanly. So I opened my gallery, scrolled through photos of my crew jobs. We'd completed trucks, we built tools, we bought with our own hands. And then I found it. That photo, the one from last month, me standing in front of the new company truck with Dylan and Mike. All 3 of us dirt-covered and grinning like lunatics. Fresh logo decal, custom ladder racks, my name in crisp white letters across the driver door. Wes Harper, owner. I send it to Mom. No caption, no explanation, just the photo. Scene. 6:42 p.m. Silence for 10 minutes. Then another ping. This time from Cassidy. "Wow. Congrats, I guess." Ah, yes. The backhanded olive branch. The "I'm mature enough to pretend I care but still bitter. You're doing better than I expected" reply. That I guess carried more emotional weight than the entire poll. But I didn't need her praise. I waited a beat, then typed, "You voted me most likely to fail. You don't get to be surprised now." Sent scene, nothing else. And for once, her silence said everything. The next message didn't come from Cassidy, it came from Evan. Yep, that Evan. Mr. Passive Income is king. Mr. You gotta manifest success, bro. Mr. I just don't see the point in trade schools when there's crypto. I hadn't seen his name pop up on my phone since the time he invited me to like and share his multi-level marketing pitch for hair supplements. But now, hey man, long time. Hope you are good. No context, no punctuation, just a limp handshake of a message from the guy who once called me a tool guy with tool thoughts. I blinked at it. Thought maybe my phone had glitched, but then it came again. Cass told me she reached out. Didn't mean to cause drama or anything, just figured we'd ask. Oh yeah, no drama at all. Just months of radio silence followed by, please give us a job. Totally normal. I didn't reply. I just locked the screen and dropped my phone face down on the workbench. Mike glanced over. Something wrong? I shook my head. Evan messaged me. Mike snorted like Evan. Evan Champagne Evan. Yep. What does he want? A custom grill for his Tesla. Nope. A job. Mike dropped the welding rod. We both burst out laughing. It was the kind of laugh you earn. After years of hearing people like Evan talk down to you, call your job. Basic or blue-collar burnout. The same guy who once told my sister while I was standing right there. It's cute. Wes likes to work with his hands. Everyone needs a hobby. This was the same Evan who gave me a literal pat on the back at Thanksgiving and said, keep grinding, little bro. I was 24. He was 26. Back then, I'd gone to the bathroom just to stop my blood from boiling. This time I was calm. I even chuckled. That chuckle grew when he followed up again. Not looking for handouts or anything, just wondering if you're hiring. Willing to start at the bottom. Total respect for what you've built. That line, total respect, was wild, coming from the guy who used to say, welders don't retire, they rust. I thought about replying. Instead, I called Dylan into the room and read the messages out loud. He stared at me. Wait, Evan, the one who made that joke about you being a lunchbox guy? Same one. Oh, man. You have to frame this like laminate already. Screenshotted. We laughed again, but beneath it was something heavier, something personal. Because this wasn't just about Evan. It was about every smug smirk I'd gotten from extended family. Every sarcastic, oh, you're still doing that welding thing at reunions. Every time someone made me feel like I picked a backup plan, now the same guy who once said my job wasn't scalable was asking for an entry-level position. But then Evan sent a video. I almost didn't open it. My thumb hovered over the screen like I was defusing a bomb. Curiosity one. It was shot from the inside of a parked car. Evan looked rough. Hoodie on dark circles. That glassy look in his eyes like he hadn't slept. Hey man, I wasn't sure how to say this in a text. So yeah, here goes. He took a breath. A big one. I know we were never tight, and I know I said a lot of dumb stuff. I really didn't think. I thought things would just keep working out for me. You know that they always would. I was a jerk. I get that now. He glanced away from the camera. Swallowed. But I'm at the point where I just want to work. I want to start over. And I figured if anyone gets that, it's you. There was a long pause at the end, like he was waiting for himself to say something wiser, but nothing came. Then he ended it with, even if you say no hard feelings. I just had to try. The video ended. I stared at the screen for the first time since this whole thing started. The poll, the DMs, the guilt texts. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel smug either. What I felt was simple weight. The weight of everything people like Evan never saw. The nights and drafty apartments, the gas station, shifts, the burns on my hands, the silence from my own family. He didn't understand the cost of getting here, but at least for once he wasn't pretending. Still, I didn't reply. Not yet. I didn't sleep much that night, not because of Evan's video, but because of what it stirred up. See, when someone who mocked you suddenly starts begging, it's not just shocking, it's disorienting. It's like watching the school bully ask you for homework help while still calling you a loser. I kept replaying the video in my head. His puffy eyes, his shaky voice, that line. I figured if anyone would understand how to start over, it'd be you. And the sad part, he wasn't wrong. I did understand starting over. I just didn't think it was my job to carry someone else through it. By sunrise, I still hadn't replied, but Evan's message sat there like a weight on my phone, heavy unread waiting. So I got to the shop early, unlocked the bay, sat at the desk with a thermos of bad coffee, and started typing. This time, I didn't write out of anger. I wrote for clarity. Evan, I got your message and your video. I believe you meant what you said. I don't think you're lying. I think you're just late. Too late. This shop wasn't handed to me. It didn't grow because someone believed in me. It exists in spite of people like you. The ones who joked, mocked, and looked down their nose while I was burning my hands for $15 an hour. You didn't just ignore me. You actively laughed at me. So no, I'm not hiring you, not because I'm mad, but because I've built something I'm proud of. And I won't risk that by letting someone in just because they finally figured out I'm worth something. I wish you luck, but this door is closed. I stared at it, reread it twice, then hit send. The message turned. Seen. Before I even put the phone down, nothing came back. No thanks for considering. No, I understand. No apology, just quiet. And for a moment, a small one, I felt a twinge of guilt. The kind of guilt people like me carry even when we've done nothing wrong. But it didn't last long because an hour later, Dylan came into the shop holding his phone, eyebrows raised. Dude, he said. You see Cassid's story? I already knew it was coming. I pulled out my phone and checked. Sure enough, black screen, white text, dramatic energy. Some people get a little success and suddenly forget where they came from. Karma keeps receipts. No names, no tags, but everyone who followed her would know. Classic Cassidy, always the victim, even when she lit the match herself. I didn't respond. I didn't even screenshot it, but it stuck in my chest all afternoon like a mosquito bite. I couldn't scratch. Later that night, after we closed up the shop, I sat in the dark parking lot with my seat leaned back, listening to the quiet hum of the city. That's when my phone buzzed again. This time it was from Mom. One line. Wes, what happened to your heart? I stared at it. Something about that sentence made me clench my jaw, not in anger, but in disbelief. Because for years, I was the one with the too big heart. The one who forgave, gave second chances, didn't complain when they overlooked birthdays or skipped milestones. They loved my heart when it was working for them. Now that it had boundaries, suddenly it was broken, so I typed back. It's still here, Mom. It just finally beats for me. Sent delivered. Seen. No reply. But this time, I didn't need one. I wasn't planning to go public. Not because I was hiding anything, but because there's a quiet satisfaction in building something when nobody's watching, and watching them squint when your name suddenly shows up somewhere unexpected. I never needed to be flashy. I was the kind of guy who just wanted to pay my crew to solid work and maybe retire without a broken spine. But the universe had other plans. It started with a photo, not mine, Dylan's. We just finished a big job, a custom railing system for a sleek downtown co-working hub. 2 floors, matte black powder coat, laser cut. Designs the kind of modern industrial that makes architects drool and welders cry inside. Dylan posted a picture of us, the whole crew standing proudly in front of the finished job, dirty boots and all. His caption was simple. From garage gigs to 7-figure builds. Built, not begged. I liked it. Gave it a thumbs up. Moved on with my day. Then a local business magazine picked it up. They were doing a Made in the City feature and apparently someone from the building tagged us. Suddenly there it was. Harper Ironworks. Wes Harper, 28, founder and owner. I didn't even know they were running it, but within 48 hours, it had made the rounds on LinkedIn, Facebook, even Instagram stories. People I hadn't spoken to in years were tagging me, messaging me, commenting things like, "Bro is out here building empires quietly. Didn't know you were that Wes Harper." But that wasn't the kicker. No, the real chaos started in the one place I never expected. The family group chat, the same chat where I was once voted. Most likely to fail without hesitation. I muted it long ago. Only checked it during holidays, and even then just to see if someone died. But that day, my phone nearly exploded. The chat name was still Harper Hive Honeybee. A cruel joke now. First came Uncle Rob. "Is this our Wes? Just saw the article, man." Then it Mel. "Wait, you own that company I thought you just helped out." "Sure. Like I bring snacks to the job site and pat real men on the back." Then Cassidy. "Oh, wow. That's cool. Didn't know you were still doing the welding thing." "Still doing the welding thing, girl. I have a payroll larger than your wedding budget. And your husband tried to apply for a job last month. Then the icing on the cake, Evan himself. Man, I had no idea this was you. Looks amazing. Should have told us right." Because after you all called me a failure, I was supposed to send monthly newsletters about my progress. I didn't respond, just sat back and watched. Even Grandma, who once told me trade school was a temporary pit stop, dropped in. Wesley, I always knew you'd make something with those hands. So proud, sweetheart. The revisionist history was wild. Where was this energy when I showed up to Christmas with grease on my shirt and they sat me at the kids' table next to someone's toddler and a folding chair? Then came Mom. Wes, I don't even have words. We're just amazed. You should have said something. We're so proud. And for a moment, I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired because now that strangers respected me, suddenly my family remembered how to. They were proud not because they believed in me, but because someone else finally did. That wasn't pride. That was validation by proxy. And I didn't need it. Not anymore. I didn't reply to the group chat, not because I didn't have words. I had too many, and none of them were worth wasting on people who only found their voices when everyone else started clapping. So I let them sit in that silence. Let the Harper Hive Honeybee group chat flicker out message by message like a dying campfire. Cassidy stopped replying after her. That's cool comment. Evan didn't follow up after his. Should have told us, lying moms. We're proud. Sat there at the bottom. A final attempt to rewrite the past in a single sentence. But you can't undo a pull with a compliment. Especially not when I still remember sitting on my cot in that broken-down apartment, watching them joke about me in real time like I wasn't even reading it. So yeah, I left it alone. But the next morning, I posted something not in the group, just on my business page, and my personal where a few straggling relatives still lurked. It was a photo. Simple. No people, just clean architecture and a new sign being installed above the entrance of a brick building. Harper Ironworks. Second location coming soon. Under it, the caption built from every "You'll never make it." Thanks for the motivation. No names, no tags, no bitterness, just truth. And man, that was the loudest silence I'd ever heard. Within the hour, Cassid's karma story disappeared. Evan changed his profile from marketing pro hustler mindset to just dog dad vibing. And Mel posted a quote about jealousy within families vague enough to look inspirational, specific enough to be guilt. But no one said a word to me. And that was fine because later that day, something unexpected happened. I got a DM from someone I barely knew. Max, my youngest cousin. We'd never been close. Last I remembered, he was still in high school, always quiet during family gatherings, usually glued to a phone while the adults talked over dinner. His message. Hey Wes, just wanted to say I saw what happened. The poll, the group chat, all of it. I remember it. I didn't vote. I just left the chat. Then he added, you made me feel like I could actually go for what I want. I'm applying to a welding program next month. Hope that's okay. That one hit different. I sat there for a minute rereading it. This whole time I thought I left without a word, but turns out silence makes its own kind of noise, especially to the people listening the closest. I replied, Max, it's more than okay. Let me know if you ever need gear advice or a place to shadow. I got you, he replied almost instantly. Seriously. Thank you, man. You don't know what that means. But I did, because I remembered what it was like to be the one who wasn't picked, who sat in the corner of family functions quietly dreaming while everyone else passed around praise like hors d'oeuvres and somehow always skipped your plate. I didn't need validation from the people who voted me out. What I needed was to know that maybe I wasn't the only one who saw through the fake smiles and selective support. And Max, he saw it too. That night, as I was locking up the shop, Dylan passed me with a smirk. You see your sister's new profile banner? He said. Nope. He handed me his phone. It was a quote. Sometimes the people you overlook build the bridges you'll need later. I raised an eyebrow. Trying to be deep now, Dylan shrugged. Or guilty. We both laughed. I didn't screenshot it. I didn't reply. I just turned off the lights, locked the door, and looked back at the glowing sign above the shop. They tried to vote me out, and now they scroll past my name every time they open their phones.